in moments where it matters. I think they'll keep the stamina up and give us a good performance since they've gotten this far. All hope could have been lost on Train, and they could have given it up, and it would have looked like they had never stood a chance, but they still came through and brought it back despite having such a bad half. So definitely looking forward to seeing this one. I want to come in with no assumptions and just give Winstrike the benefit of the doubt because they've definitely earned it.
Just go ahead and leave it all on the server. Norbert, he'll take just one. He was so committed to the depths of the apartments that there was an inevitability with his death. Had no chance to fall back at all. But AVANGAR do have that option and will take it.
James leading the charge back to the A site. Waylander up in the ladder room with a teammate in CT to hold down A. Pretty simple setup, but they've been proactive at mid. They've got lots of information. And what is our number 8-man kicker doing right now? Is he going to come through late? Up in B halls, they seem like he seems like he is going to catch a push, and if not, maybe the bomb is here to be planted for Triple as he jumps out onto Cat.
Oh, that's a very helpful Kush versus Boombitch. And Kicker, he's going to hear the fallback now, so he knows the rotate's going over. He too gets his dink immediately. There's 30 seconds. They could pull this back towards B. They will. Very well could come down to the wire, and Waylander's about to throw a wrench in the works.
Oh my god. Are they going to go pistols out or knife out? And will Waylander get 2? He's in a tricky spot, and he gets 1 kill. That might not be enough.
Doesn't seem like it. Unless we can see Quick just throw himself outwards from the market door and prevent that plant, but he too blindsided. This investment with Kicker inside of the apartments has most certainly paid off. Remember, Boomich, he was tagged towards Ticket, so low HP from the get-go. Hasn't really had a chance to even duel, and now he has 3 Ts ahead, but snaps Kicker right back. Seems to have an inkling as to Jame being up here in the apartments. Krizen dancing around now. He confirms that Boomich is here. 12 HP should be not enough to work with, yet somehow Boomich still stands. I mean, really making them work for it in the end, but AVANGAR, again, that investment on Kicker pays off.
Sick how AVANGAR always keep their options open, and on that round, it seemed like they were going to make the late rotate back to A, but with everybody there, and they relied on Kicker to not only get the kill, but lead them back to B. And it's interesting to see this like really late round adjustment. Waylander almost calls it out, and I'm honestly surprised that he even pulled off this push into underpass, but unfortunately could not get to. AVANGAR steal that one away by the skin of their teeth. Put Winstrike on the eco, and because again it was AVANGAR winning it on the T side, Winstrike will not be investing anything. Sends a few $100s into P250s. Bitch here to clear up the underpass. Mid control on the ducket for AVANGAR. This is a standard set of affairs since Kicker is going to be the extremity holder. His job is quite difficult. You need to know whether or not CTs might push a ramp or palace, what rounds they'll do it, and whether or not you should way back and spawn or push yourself.
Oh, he will get just one. Looked for a moment like he wasn't even going to get it. Robbed by Jame nearly. But there's Jame using that MAC-10 to rack up cash. 2 kills to his name, and why not a third?
Easy cleanup, no problem. They get up the connector, they get the kills, they get on the site, and they lose no more members. Winstrike here are going to be buying up while it's not going to be World Edit on an AWP. Boomich also is only going to get an M4. It's going to be half armor for most players. No kit on the board. They've all decided to go straight for utility, and you can definitely put them to put utility to use on this map until the end of the round. It's all valuable. One extra smoke and connector, if a team could have it, would make a world of difference in terms of delaying for time. Here's Waylander. Poke around at Cat. Oh, and the aggression, it doesn't pay off. Buster going up on Cat and getting taken down.
Well, Waylander was flirting with that Cat smoke. Decides to push back in. Just gets 2 headshots. We only see the front man, but there was a player behind him next to the boxes on mid, so the good old twofer. We've got Winstrike in a 4v2. Walkout from Kickert might go unnoticed, but it's not as though it's going to establish too much of an advantage. I mean, Bubic very aware of the fact he's giving this away for free.
There's not any other targets here, so there might be a bomb plant, and if there is a bomb plant, they hold down CT with one player. Will Bubic even peek? That's the question. He risks making this a very winnable round for AVANGAR. And there it is. Bomb gets tapped. Bubic is here to look. He gets killed. They lose CT control, and World Edit is low.
The closest rotator for the moment, but he'll double up with Norbert. Both about to come in from mid. It's Waylander on the long flank, and Kickert seems aware of it. Just turns prior to Waylander coming around that corner. But Krizen's killed someone elsewhere. Now it's just down to World Edit. He has such low HP. This would be another 2 versus 4 from AVANGAR, something they've been able to accomplish all minor long. It's not finished yet, but World Edit, he's not going to fancy his chances. Tucks tail and gives it over. 3-0 from AVANGAR off a back-footed 2v4.
Everybody gets away clean. Nobody dies to the bomb, and World Edit ultimately has not enough HP or time near the end of that round to attempt that. Somehow AVANGAR win. The 2v3 here in these final moments, that was fantastic. What a kill from Krizen as well. And Kickert dealt with the flank masterfully. I mean, I feel like I could see their way to victory obviously when Bubic died. But I could even see how Bubic could die if he peaked slightly. He needed to wait for his team to have the most chance, because they weren't close enough to activate on that kill, nor did they have anybody right behind him to trade.
Right.
And CT control was all too important to both teams in that situation.
And if he did stay alive, I think there's an increased chance of World Edit, instead of joining Norbert in mid, joining Bubic in CT. So there'd be 2 from CT, Norbert in connector, and then you also have that long flank. You know, you add in this bolstered 3-pronged retake assault. But not the case. World Edit, sure enough, does grandfather that M4 forward.
Bomb left in spawn. AVANGAR have a full buy, whereas Winstrike have just some rags. They get the opening kill as well. Going to be fully aware of the threat of this 1M4. They're just going to wonder how much has been bought behind it, how much money Winstrike have saved. We'll soon learn it's all in the bank. And there are no players with head armor. Krizen could be used as a scout in this situation, as a MAC-10. He's already well poised in B-apps to go and take a fight. And now it seems like there's a coalition of the T's towards mid and B. But Waylander shuts down the threat. And that's half of the threat that seemed like it was going to be a split. Now, our number 6-man Buster is going to be pushing back to A instead.
Yeah, we have that 3-player cohort just floating around in middle. While it does seem like Buster heads A, Catwalk's under question. Waylander's stopped by the op of Jame, and this could still be a ruse doubling back into the A site, but at least by killing the Cat player, you do peel one off of CT spawn. Buster, sure enough, gets the ball rolling. Quick, dirty deagle, we know he has it, and he gets himself just one headshot. Too many players poking at him for anything to follow suit. Now Norbert doubles back from his expedition towards B, temporarily taken out of the action, but right back into it with a little more damage versus Fitch. He almost cuts it down to 2, but AVANGAR will survive 3 players as they establish that 4-0 lead.
What's interesting about AVANGAR is in that round, you can see that they have an idea of what they want to do. But once they lose a player, they go ahead and adapt. And they don't have the entire round mapped out, but they react to the kills and they position themselves so that whether they lose a kill or get a kill, they have a different route to go, and they're always very decisive in following through on that decision. So to the other team, it seems like they get played every round. In reality, AVANGAR are constantly reacting to situations.
And that always plays into what we talk about with them, right? Their consistent decision-making, lack of hesitation. Can get caught up with options, but not these guys. Jame off to a fiery start, 5-1. Molotov to burn a man into the open, so that does confirm Bubic back here. Buster playing for Catwalk control again. We watched Waylander fall just last round when he only had the Deeg.
And that's his cue.
Yeah.
Had no idea that there was a player waiting right around the corner.
30 bullets spray down could always come back to cost you for exactly that reason. Pounces during the reload. Waylander literally defenseless. And straight thereafter, AVANGAR just pull them apart one after another. Winstrike falls.
Like a ball of yarn. Yeah, and you know, that is something, you raise a really good point. Like even if you aren't sure, like even if you're kind of sure or aren't sure, you shouldn't use 30 bullets to spam through a smoke. Because if you're, at least if it's 15, you pull off a reload, maybe you even fake the reload. You want this guy to come around the corner. But if you use all 30, it's going to be fully understood from the person who has shot many times without actually counting individual bullets that you are completely out of ammo. They'll know within certainty. And obviously there's the new sound that I don't even know actually is that if that is a client side sound that when you're low enough on bullets you start to hear this kind of like double click.
The little thinks. I think that's client-sided.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know if it's a global sound or not, but that is also a tell.
When you hear that, it should be your warning to stop spraying smokes. You know, because
Yeah.
at least if you've just begun hearing that you got those 5-6 bullets, you can win a duel with 6 shots. It's not easy, and if there's 2 of them, you're screwed. I mean, Waylander, he just wanted to call a pause when he saw that terrorist round the corner. But there are no breaks in this action. 5-0 start. Deagle's back up for Winstrike, and this is the AVANGAR we saw on Dust 2 Launders. You know, I'm starting to feel like it's just an affliction for Train that can hold them back at times. Deep grenade. Fitch follows suit, softening him up and knocking him down therefore after.
Chance to kill the A lurk. Fitch goes ahead and opts one out of the round. Few players left with decent pistols, and that's all they'll have. Vic here, peering over top of a mid smoke, and Fitch kills him too.
Just going through the motions in rounds like this. Winstrike not able to make any shakeups. Said it before, I'll say it again. That was a key piece to their victory over Gambit, was winning rounds when they only had upgraded pistols. Hasn't happened at all here today.
Would be rough to fall flat after having to grind all the way back through that last map, but AVANGAR are off to a strong start. 6-0. Winstrike's adjustment is interesting though. They get the double ops. And we'll have a most likely 1 in CT, Boomich, potentially World Edit in the B apartments. We don't have to go over CT offensive aggression or options. There are so many. And it looks like Winstrike have implored the one that is potentially the most dangerous, Vic. It's going to be the guy to go to top mid, but he has support at least. Falls back upon spotting a player. He's really hedging his bets with that fight. Doesn't want to overcommit and end up losing. And in exchange, at least get some information. But suddenly mid has been all but evacuated. AVANGAR are here to hold it, and there hasn't been a CT to re-aggress. Vic has just this very passive pixel peek on underpass. And now AVANGAR push out for what will be a B split.
Oof. Hefty damage on the nade. Nobody to hold them back just yet, though, through connector. I mean, Kvic's there, now smoked off. Waylander completely blinded by the flash. And that is a 5-man split into the B site. Only line of defense was Norbert, and he gets nothing done. While James cleared off the tail end of the caboose. That is a very small win in a sea of defeat.
There are some aggressive options that get you permanent advantages in the round. If you push through B apps and you can hold from there, then you're good. But some aggressive options are just too dangerous to hold on to, like pushing up the top mid. And I mean, you can, I suppose, but it gets very nerve-wracking to think that I've still got to worry about underpass flank. I don't have a box to stand behind. And so for Kvik, you know, falling back made the most sense. But once you leave there and you see that there hasn't been a T who showed up, AVANGAR will outpatience you. They'll make that worth nothing, almost. And so it was good that Winstrike decided to go for a change. It's also good that they retained the 2 ops and it allowed them to try something new next round. But there might be a better push for them to do. They could try to get some Halls control, especially if they feel like AVANGAR are going to take mid. And double push into B apps is strong as well. but something more full committal could be more effective. Because it's rare enough that AVANGAR will just full commit to something at the beginning of the round. There was a mid hit. Vic stayed out there, potentially could have gotten a kill.
Trying to disrupt this mid presence. It's Norbert at the bottom of mid.
Ooh, that flash was specifically for James.
Underpass is open for a push. Norbert wants to do it, but it's the windowsill that serves as an issue for AVANGAR. Now Buster has no smoke on connector to cover him yet.
Wow, good awareness. Oh my goodness, I didn't think he had any idea that someone crossed, and Norbert is here at the underpass.
Peek up from Boomich, loses more than half his health because of the Molotov. Only one smoke left over for AVANGAR, so if they want to cover the cross, it's got to be stairs or jungle. Either that or they just look for the duels. It's going to be top CT, or excuse me, connector. Good op shot from World Edit. Nicely done. Boomich then follows suit. So the double op setup, Mohan, that seems to be the difference maker. Winstrike, they finally went around, and it's in a sweep with 5 alive.
They had those 2 ops last round. They were just totally avoided by AVANGAR, who decided to go for a split B. This time Buster getting killed on Cat, I think, was the difference maker. World Edit again so aware of the thought that he had lurked up past the scope of him and his teammate. And then when it went to A, it was no problem. So the dry peaks fall to the ops, and AVANGAR give up a round. 1-7. Not insurmountable. But still fairly hefty. Crizzen, he's gonna hear that. Oh.
Sick movement from Norbert. And then 3 ops fire off. If 2 works, buy a third. Just dismantled was AVANGAR. 0 trade frag responses, 0 damage even dealt as of yet. So Kvik will be confident in his mid attempt. Only James left over, missing the first bullet he fires off. And that is therefore AVANGAR empty-handed. They don't have that much. I take that back. They have plenty of cash in their coffers.
Damn, dude. That was a nice pick.
2
Good
rounds for Winstrike with 5 players up.
Yeah, 2 rounds, 5 players up, 3 ops now, and I mean, this is a round where you use smokes, and fortunately for AVANGAR, they still somehow have 10K on 2 players, 7K on Fitch, 4.5 on James. Kickert's the lowest with 3. They can rebuy whatever they want. Kickert's going to get the drop. They can pick up an op here, but I wouldn't. Yeah, they're just going to get AKs. This is the kind of round where you pretty much just want to full execute.
Right, with that many ops on the field?
Yeah, smokes are huge right now. It's hard to retake. It's basically impossible to retake with 3 ops. You're also going to be less encouraged to drop your op for another gun to try a retake if you think you're going to lose. So the thought of not being able to carry that over comes into your head. And again, having to get through smokes is very difficult, so a set piece would be highly effective. Even a contact rush.
Vision knocked off for Boomich. Talked about that full execute. Looks like they're going to try to work underpass first to join here with the 3 outside of a ramp. Now the beauty of this, of course, is that if the mid play doesn't go well, if you're not able to obtain control of mid and connector, then at least you still have the full-blown execute coming out from ramp. Oh, window boost. Easily caught by Quick. He's going to drop the frag at the feet as well, and World Edit takes the high side of Ticket Booth in order to slow down the push. So this is not going well so far for AVANGAR. They've been slowed down on both fronts, but not cleared out of either. So they'll trudge along, working closer and closer to the bomb site. And a big question is, what's Fitch going to get off to?
You try to work this individually. Again, you always risk getting ops. Oh my god. Tucks right under the scope of Norbert. Every one of these kills could just mean the end of things. It's so hard to get back in. An entire bomb site taken right now. Is Fitch going to get caught here, or is it going to be patient? Vic is...
Ladder. But all the while, he's clearing out more corners in B. We do have Waylander working his way around in apps.
What the hell is happening right now?
Crizin gets into jungle.
I mean, they could sit and wait. Oh, plant's just open. They've got Fitch on Cat. It's planted for him. This is crazy how spread out all the CTs and Ts are.
And Boomich just misses the vision of his head. That's an easy pickup versus Kickert.
Oh,
seems wary of the potential cat play. Crizin then comes revealing himself from jungle, but Fitch picks up another kill. It's down into the 2 versus 2, and World Edit's already on bomb, tapping it to elicit a peek. Here's Fitch dodging bullets, trying to serve as a distraction now because the diffuser's in. Here it is. Crizin has to come up, and within a second of the defuse, he'll take it. What a weird little mid-round exchange.
that's an insane mid-round from both teams. Insanely tenuous. I feel like with the positioning that Winstrike had, I mean, everything rested on a hairpin. It was a nice early round, but Fitch getting that opening kill, ducking under the scope and getting into B was the main play. The funniest part was that even though he took that site by himself, it didn't even cross AVANGAR's mind to go B. Instead, they put 2 players lurked up into the site, planted open, and hoped that nobody was ready in connector, and then had the bomb ready for Fitch, who had taken the site in the first place. Pretty ridiculous stuff for them to do in the mid-round, and then they win. Again, we already had a 2v4 on this map.
Have ourselves another wild ride. Just when it seemed like Winstrike was going to get back into things. That triple op setup was expensive.
Oh my God, they buy right back into it.
Yep.
That's a huge risk. The thing is that AVANGAR would never expect them to buy into a triple op setup again. Very unconventional, very expensive. It doesn't prop your economy up at all. And they have bought down to 0 on basically everyone. To each their own.
See if it pans out. Norbert's completely countered. Smoke in his face. World Edit. Oh, damn. 22 health the difference. He's going to manage to get that first kill, so they know there's at least one op on the playing field. Window smoke for Fitch to play around with, but nobody else is here. In fact, Winstrike, they seem to be welcoming the push, whether that be up catwalk or through connector. They're letting AVANGAR make a play.
A would be by far and away the harder site to take, depending on what smokes they have. A split here into B could be enormous. It's a lot of pressure on the 2 players holding. Again, retake's just not very viable. AVANGAR patient and waiting for Winstrike to try something aggressive, but AVANGAR don't realize that they have 3 ops. They're here to wait. 35 seconds, they've got to make a move. Is there a smoke?
No.
No, they need James to hold this down on the cross.
Bunch of Molotovs for them to play with. Oh, and Norbert, he's going to get pushed off of his position immediately. Him and Quick do get a couple of kills. Still, we do have the jump out from Kicker, but that is then denied. So they wait, and they play against time into the triple op setup of Winstrike, which was just moved forward with ease. Jame will get himself a parting gift, sure enough, but Winstrike's buyback pans out.
Yeah, they don't recover the 3rd op, though. It's like, it's funny because normally you wouldn't even try to recover the 3rd op, but because they want it for their setup so desperately that they were willing to buy it after losing with it, I would assume that that's going to be kind of a big deal to them. I don't know if they try to buy it again. It looks like not. They're just going to stick with 2. So that is a slight difference, but ultimately 2 ops had the main impact on that round. That was the problem for AVANGAR. Took a bit long to get into the B side execute, and then they tried to get up Cat with very little grenades. Probably should have waited or not done that unless they had a smoke, at least for Cat. So many lines of sight from window, from connector, from Cat itself that you have to shut off. And it's kind of nerve-wracking to turn a corner like that without knowing that at least one of the choke points is blocked off.
Robert's playing around the bomb site. Good reposition, catching Fitch, but does he realize there's already another player down? What is he going off on? Hits the flick. Jame and Crizin combine, however. They do get into the B site, and there's a massive flank to come out from Buster through mid. Just working with the Deagle, and smoked off from the site, it's up to Kvik to throw a wrench into the works. Buster denied as well on the flank around, so Jame, 1v3, hits the immediate 2K, and it's Boomich in the window, jumping wide. Down he goes to James. A 9th for AVANGAR. And this is a wild ride, Launders.
That is just nasty. Oh my god, they almost had it. I've never actually seen a smoke for Market that actually lands in the window. That's kind of nuts. I've mostly seen smokes that land like around in front of it that try to block vision off from the apps, but that was a full-fledged be exact. Deny vision from Oppers was the main objective, and they definitely did that. They had players from Cat rotate in through the smokes where they didn't want to, but World Edit almost allowed them to come back into it by getting his 180 op shot on Cat. Winstrike end up losing to one incredible 1v3 by James. I thought he was dead for sure. I thought he wasn't even going to get a kill.
It really, really helped him that the player towards Arch had so little HP. Even though the flank didn't work, he lowered the health because then James could so quickly reposition for the second peak. You know, if he has to expend even a second longer, then...
look how expensive that is. 3 ops, 2 ops, and now a reset after losing that round.
Blinding flashbangs all over the ramp. Players getting stuck on one another. Boomich with a headshot on the final bullet in the mag. Smokes all over. Still the AKs with a huge advantage, undeniably. Buster will clear one through smoke. That's one of those rounds that gets really scary straight from the gate, but AVANGAR seem to have quickly put themselves back into a strong position. Got the anchor on ramp, Fitch to reveal himself now, and James doubles back with the information that the retake's coming in from Connector. Quick, can you really pull this off? 1v3 on the op. A key tool to the few rounds Winstrike have won. So this one's done. He's just gonna let it slide.
And he also will get out alive. Now, at least they take this. A good attempt. Nice 2K from Boomich. Close A ramp duels haven't happened too often in this match. And towards the end of the half, we'll have finally a single fight that matters. Well, matters slightly, I suppose. But that's pretty nuts. In terms of money, it's looking grim. Winstrike can use the op at least, but can they fortify the buy? Do they want to? Norbert upgraded his gun. It seems like everybody else must buy if Norbert's going to do that. So yeah, World Edit's going to pick up an MP9. Boomich might have a gun for himself. I assume they're going to try to do something aggressive this round. You wouldn't anticipate, but AVANGAR will be happy to try to starve him out and wait for these kinds of pushes. Buster's actually just got a straight up Mac 10. I guess in terms of money, they're not like totally in the clear. They can't just buy this and upgrade for free. Next round, if they lose this, might have to potentially save or compromise on a couple of full buys. So Buster's going to take the Mac 10. It looks like they're going to go hard B. It doesn't seem like they're going to stop.
No, not with that Mac 10 at the helm. Just going to stampede forward. Norbert in the bomb site. Does a little bit of chip damage, and hell, even gets the kill. He's always good for one under pressure like that. Nothing really follows suit of it, however, to the favor of Winstrike. Waylander's been waiting for his chance to come in from behind. Could actually catch James. But obviously, with so many players alive for AVANGAR, James will serve as the anchor in apps. Turns his head back and waits. You know, he is one of their best clutch players, so they always make sure he's safe and sound. Waylander, speaking of sound, okay. Runs right in with Vic combining for a second kill. I mean, this pushes it into the 2 versus 2, and now it's all on 1. Fitch, sure enough, clears it, but he's dinked.
Time.
He's sitting on the 3K, and yep, time calls it. Little Glock shot to try and finish it off. They'll all go down with bomb if not, and you'll find it in the end. 12th, potentially, for AVANGAR.
One last round. They'll give it a shot. It got hairy, but AVANGAR cleaned it up when it mattered. Incredible half so far, 11-3 here on T side of the last map of the series. Technically, we've been in this territory before,
right,
and it wasn't the end of the world. But I don't feel like Mirage is going to be that favorable for Winstrike to switch over and pull off the same antics that they did last time around.
This It's a fast one. They're just looking for a straight-up gun duel here in the 15th. Run into the windowsill, met by Kickert and Jame. And you're absolutely right, Launders. We've had such a lopsided score after the first half of Train, but the CT-sided comeback on Train is a completely different beast to the T side of Mirage. That's undeniable. This is looking like the AVANGAR that kicked off the series with a convincing victory on Dust 2. Well, they get that last chip in the bank. 12-3, very realistic now. World Edit, he's not even anywhere nearby to stop this. I was gonna say plant, but they don't have bomb either. AVANGAR, they want all the kills they can take. Softening up Jame as he can. That's it, folks. 12-3. Falling flat is Winstrike on the CT side. Outclassed yet again, but capable of the comebacks we know. So you're not gonna wanna miss this. We will be back after the break. It is now going to be AVANGAR 4 rounds away from being crowned the new challengers of IEM Katowice. That, my friends, was a masterclass in the T side of Mirage, and it pushes Winstrike into the same position. They have to start this with a desperate pistol. Charging straight towards the B bomb site, they'll find it for free. There are 0 defenders here from AVANGAR.
This is like a hard read. Why do you need this many people to defend a site you can retake? What about B where you can retake it? How are they going to do this, man? Oh my god, it's the perfect strat. Fnatic B works every time, folks.
See if AVANGAR can just finagle their way back into it. They do go through the window jump, so it's a heavy cap presence. Norbert tucked away into the corner. Headshots aplenty between him and World Edit. But then it does go back the other way slightly. Jame, you see why I call this guy what's he doing?
I guess just waiting for his teammates to get kills. No one pushes through. I mean, what the setup just seems so crazy. Like, yeah, he gets to, I mean, the setup allows, so if there's an A rush, you know, it's over. But
but if it's a B rush,
it's over.
So a fourth one's found. All right. I mean, listen, they've got a huge mountain ahead.
They have strange setups. It's just that B is objectively harder to retake. I mean, a little bit easier on the pistol, but still. There's lots of good spots for the T's to stand in, so it's not that fun to try to come back into the site. I think they just needed a few more seconds because it felt like James was making his way back. The one thing they left open was the the really fast rush into B.
Yeah.
The fourth gear rush into B, which I guess we saw. And here, to make up for last round, decided to stack up in the site.
These guys are really all in, right? It's either 5A, 5B. No in-betweeners. It's a team game.
Oh, they're making too much noise. A couple pairs of footsteps, and it should be understood that there is very little chance that a team is going to just play a standard like 2-3 on USBs. Yeah. Bomb makes its way back to the A site. Norbert going to turn tail. And actually, just hold for a second. In case there is some kind of egregious push by the CTs. But it's too late. AVANGAR, the jig is up. You guys made noise. Winstrike are going to play this smartly. Take their talents up the A ramp into an open site once again. And AVANGAR will probably just sit here and wait. And try not to die.
And accomplish nothing in the meantime.
I mean, technically, that's what we're all trying to do.
All right.
Stay alive a little longer.
Yeah, just,
You know?
get the most of it.
So,
Enjoy it while we can. Soon enough, they'll be well equipped to the teeth, and their deaths will matter more.
yeah. Just out here trying not to die.
Doing our best.
Even kill distribution, at least for Winstrike. AVANGAR is a little bit more bumpy, but they're so far in the lead. There's going to be a couple of anomalies. James actually having a great map so far. Wasn't on the server on train. Just didn't seem like he had a good plan for himself. Didn't hit shots when he needed to. Mostly just didn't find openings, to be honest. And, you know, I think it feels like it's not a matter of inconsistency, as a matter of does he have a plan or not. So some maps, it's just like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And other maps, it's like you can tell when he feels seriously uncomfortable.
He's everywhere or nowhere, Launders. Mirage is not a map that he struggles on regularly. We saw him picking them apart throughout that first half. Immediately into the AWP is James.
Was there a reason to waste that?
Just so you're not tempted to pull it out.
Takes a free slot. No BM here for Kickert. Molotov out to the van. Standard default against Norbert is getting curious. Who wins this duel? Let's see. Felt like you might want to take that peek in a window. You know, when someone sits on an ankle like this, doesn't move. They've studied it. Oh, this fight's going to happen. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. Oh, but the shots are missed. And it's a reset. Yeah. Pretty safe to sit here somewhere under the window where teams have to come out. And right under the window is hard to adjust your crosshair for. And you have to stand in the window and shoot directly down. So it's actually really good to stand under the open window as opposed to the fenced up window. And then if they come out to the end of halls, you can just look generally in that direction. And it's a pretty good spot. If you're solo B, there's a couple of ways to play it. My favorite way is Flush's favorite way to sit on Cat and have the get right pillar block off the chained window. But here's Buster on Cat to be a lot more proactive. Eats a flash, however.
Yeah, that was a face full of flashbang. So now it's going to activate the apartments push. Boomich saves Fitch, but Kicker comes out from the bench. Good spray control. Could even grab himself a couple other kills because there are still two men running at him on the site itself. He's trying to hide as long as he could, but he can't get away with it any longer. Jame on the flank.
This is a pretty fast flank.
Op and Deeg.
He spotted them both.
He made a little bit of noise.
Oh my goodness. Oh, didn't expect Norbert to go ahead and take that one into his own hands. Dropped his gun. Might as well have gone for maybe some spam damage, but didn't know they were low.
Damn.
Sad round for Kickert. He did so much work.
Right. Well, right here on the bench. I mean, by the time he started firing, there was 4 Ts coming at him. He drops 2, damages another. Norbert.
Say what the stuff he knows.
It just sounds like that's how you'd say it.
It sounds like the name of an animated penguin.
Yeah, like Pingu. You're Canadian, you should know that.
Yeah, Claymation Penguin.
All right, making sure. Keeping you on your toes, Mohan. Just like Norbert is this B site. Applying pressure to the window right away again. I'm getting flashbacks to train already. I know it's a long shot. I know it's a far,
Chill, okay? Just
far
calm
time
down.
from here, but I'm ready for it. My heart's pounding.
You need to relax.
My hands are shaking.
Another Canadian reference.
Let's see if they can still hit some headshots. When does Crizzen opt to throw down that smoke? It's the only tidbit of utility.
They're going to be mad to see this because they're about to set up for an execute. If they delay for too long, okay, here, the smoke's come cascading over. He's going to drop that. And they're like, wait, what? They can't just let these dissipate. I mean, he canceled out the smokes that they threw. Oh, and there's a kill.
Well, but Kicker caught jumping upon the boxes, and good job by throwing that flashbang over. It definitely helped Norbert clear the closer corner. 2 CTs still up, 1 down.
That was a tight flash for sure. James, oh, he's gonna get cleared. Yeah, he's just a little backpack sticking out. Boomich. What's he waiting for? He's gonna try to, go for a quick chance knife? Nope, not gonna be good. 2 of them go down. They drop the AK to James. Don't give an AK to James. You never know what's gonna happen if you give an AK to James. Waylander will wake up to find that he luckily got that kill, but could have died very easily. That's a lot of damage dealt for no reason.
Boomich really wanted to get in on that knife kill.
He even had a flash to help him.
All right. Let's see if that cost comes back to bite them. Let's look at the money here left over from Winstrike. No, they've got Sugar Daddy Norbert. $8,000 in the coffers.
See how long that lasts.
Level ops set up right away for AVANGAR as they come back into the gun rounds. Little fire damage licks the feet of James.
No one in the window, but they still got mid-presence. AVANGAR. Of the re-smoke to top connector, Norbert gets killed. Had a small opportunity, but was not destined to win.
Yeah, another little solo B apps play from Norbert.
Okay. Yeah, it's perfectly timed with the peak. Exactly when the flash would pop. Now Fitch, just to push World Edit out of position as well, and that you know, there's nothing more. No more of a helpless feeling than just trying to get back into B-abs, like not even deep into B-abs, and having a smoke thrown in your face.
And then a second top, trying to pry from the side of Catwalk, gets another. So Winstrike, they've been turned around. So it's going to be AVANGAR on the board, so it seems. 2 versus 5. I mean, hell, we've seen some 2v4s, Mohan. But a 2v5?
Well, the 2v4 we've seen have all been AVANGAR, so.
I know. I was just trying to, you know, give some hope to the
Oh yeah,
Winstrike
look,
fans
sorry,
at home.
man. I didn't mean to take you down a peg.
They happen, guys. Just, you know, never for your team.
Anything is possible, except if it's you.
You normie.
2 ops. Looking dangerous.
If they don't get to save these either. Remember, they lost money going for knife kills
Uh-oh.
at the end of the last round. 1 second left. Luckily for Kvik, he dies right before the time concludes. In the World Edit, he'll be fine, tucked away in the safety of the apartments. 13-7 for AVANGAR. The double op setup, the moment they get their grubby paws on it, succeeds in their endeavor. Winstrike are going to be forced to use 1 of their 2 remaining pauses.
You know you're in a desperate situation when you're lucky to die.
Right. That's really depressing.
1 tack pause remains after this round for Winstrike. And in terms of money, Sugar Daddy Norbert is almost out of funds, baby.
Papa Norby.
Norb. Waylander doesn't have armor yet, doesn't have a gun. Kvik doesn't have armor yet, doesn't have a gun. So they force up. They're not going to have drops unless they're in front of them and we can't see. But it's not a super good buy. AVANGAR's, however, is.
Yeah, there's weapons floating around in there.
Super duper buy.
We've got him. Kvik very limited. Galil and Kevlar. What did he do to deserve that?
Oh, no way. That would have been insane. Do you know how hard that is? I almost said swear.
I've never seen you so excited.
Do you know how hard that is? That would be the single hardest, most useful jump that you could do in this game.
You sound very convinced.
That took me 3 hours to do the first time.
You're such a loser.
Are you kidding me? That jump is insanely difficult.
Well, the fact that he failed it puts him in a prime spot to pick up Boomich.
Maybe if you're sitting there in an offline server, you know, grinding in a match especially. I think he just did it just for fun, but that'd be something else. James, come on, let's see it, baby. I want to see that. That would be a self boost into CPL. Imagine doing that without a teammate to boost you in the beginning of the round. You wouldn't need to jump cat anymore.
You're such a movement nerd.
Trying to start the movement. Ooh, he's spotted. Yeah, he's dead. You dead, Norbert.
It's not a movement, Launders.
It's not been that sneaky this half.
No, not able to get behind enemy lines lately. Hell, not able to do much at all. AVANGAR, 5 players up at the current moment, and both these remaining Ts have been found out with minimal amounts of time left over to make their play. All right. That was a tough spot for World Edit. He'll survive. Crizin. Oops. Gonna mess that one up. You know what? There's still time to make this happen. If they just run frantically into the A site and somehow hit some zingers in the kills, that'd be one thing. But without knowing what's going on, obviously they just fall prey to that. I feel like if you don't get those 2 kills, then they save their weapons. But because they have this like bolstered false confidence, they just run into their death haphazardly. So, yikes.
This feels kind of casual at this point because AVANGAR are in such a lead.
Right.
But literally, they win these next 2 rounds. They're in the major.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
Huge.
That's sick.
Right into it.
They're not screaming every round. They might still be salty that this wasn't a 2-0.
Yeah, fair enough. They're keeping it rather reserved. This one should be easy. It is just the pistols. Winstrike not going to go all in on it. Some players buy down to 0 and boom edge. But this is it. AVANGAR, they are so well poised to go ahead and move into the actual IEM Katowice. Bitch to be tested, gets back in behind the cover. Buster here to help. Op shots firing off. And while Quick will do something, it's oh so little. World Edit left all alone, and AVANGAR have 8 map and match points to do this. $30,000 richer, but more importantly, we'll be upgrading them to the new challenger status.
And stickers.
They look so cool.
I know, they're just chill. They must have earned it. You can tell how much preparation the team puts in. It's so apparent. Like, not a lot of teams have that. No, very few teams at this minor have shown that they're different, that they're really good, consistent, fundamental, and creative. And like AVANGAR, just tick all the boxes. They're super good. And they must think, you know, we can beat a team like Winstrike, and that's great. And Winstrike might also make it to the major. But they have to be able to beat teams like this and do it and make it look easy to get anywhere at the major. You know, that's how far they're thinking. They've already been there, so
Yep.
at this point they're shooting higher.
2 of the 5. More so even, actually. That's true. It's Waylander and World Edit. You know, this is a majority major attendee team. This could be it. This could very well be the final push, the final round. AVANGAR gonna let them out of ramp. Boomich with a drive-by CZ frag. Farewell. The face of Norbert popped wide open. Buster with a double from Catwalk. He's not even amidst the execution, and yet still he finds such heavy impact. World Edit wants the kills. He's going to try to trudge forward into the CT spawn, giving chase and falling prey to the trap of Kicker. There you have it, folks. The very first new challenger status team from the CIS Minor is AVANGAR. And they don't even break a sweat here in 2 of the 3 maps.
Unbelievable. They're just like, yeah, good job, guys. We made it. We beat Winstrike. It was great. Enjoy it. You know, they move on to harder challenges, but they've done a lot so far at the majors. They've definitely impressed, and they have shaken off any land rust that they might have had coming out of the break. So a lot of the preparation, it shows, has done a lot for them. Wonders.
It's just considering, what they did to Spirit yesterday. I thought AVANGAR have already kind of proved how they can just completely dismantle teams. It is reassuring to me, Winstrike's form currently, best of 3 win over top of Gambit, best of 3 win over top of the boys here on AVANGAR, and now one more chance tomorrow versus Spirit for that last spot here straight from the CIS Minor. We'll hand this one over to the analysts so they can break down the final CIS game of today.
AVANGAR, your first team through to the new Challenger stage. They've made it to the Major, and they do it in a more convincing fashion as we get into the final map of Mirage.
It was a super impressive performance throughout. I think it's very fitting when Fitz said in an interview, I joined this team to win the CIS Minor, and here he did, and they did it convincingly. They're playing a Winstrike team who is so far, the surprise of the tournament, I would say. Obviously, they're not done yet. They still have one more game tomorrow where they can secure their spot for the Major as well.
Oh, yes. But
a very impressive showing for AVANGAR. I think they were very calm, very controlled, and they had pretty much everything under control. Also, do believe you have a clip for us that's going to showcase a little bit about why AVANGAR is playing so well.
Yeah, I think the really cool thing about this particular matchup was the small little nuances, right? Just this clip in particular, it's an anti-eco round. I like how AVANGAR is just like spread out here, just waiting for the aggression from Winstrike, because Winstrike obviously are on an eco, and they have a couple of guns saved from the previous round. We have Buster over towards Palace, we have Jamie waiting towards top of mid, we have 2 players towards B Apartments watching B Apps, and the push coming in from Underpass, that's Fitch watching over there. And we of course have another player, I do believe it is Quickert, who's watching for the push towards Cave, towards A slope, right? And you look at the way they're playing this, they're waiting patiently, they're not pushing the luck. They know it's about trying to win this round without losing any players, without getting caught off guard. They take the sweet time, then they gather up together, all 3 players making their way towards top mid. It's Jamie alongside 2 other players, and then of course they still have the 2 satellite players. It's I think it is Buster playing towards A and the other player towards B Apartments, and then they finally go for the hit. Eventually you'll see like how they take the A bomb site. Wayland are taking on Crizzen over there. They don't get affected at all. They're like, we're going to still stick to the plan. It's going to work out, and they play this anti-eco so very well. The reason I'm bringing this up is because when we saw a couple of anti-ecos coming out from their opponents, that is Winstrike, you have 5 AK-47s, and the CTs are with USPs, and you've got the bomb down. It's a 5v4 or something. There's no need to go for the hunt, but you could see a couple of players, edging, and they want to get a kill. What do you get? You get $300 with an AK kill? What's the point in going for that hunt? Instead, you might lose an AK-47, you might lose an armor utility. It's about small little differences in the way you approach CS. Like you said, AVANGAR, the closest you've seen in amongst almost all the CIS teams to our very own Astralis. And that is the small little thing which gives them the edge here. And in this game in particular, it's not just that. They just went all off.
I think it's a super cool clip to showcase, so to speak. It's one of those scenarios where you see them not get rattled out. Even though they lose the guy towards BFs, they're still keeping the composure, still sticking to the plan. They don't get rattled out, they don't change it, they don't panic. Basically, this is a team that knows how to play Counter-Strike. This is a team that is a level or even 2 levels ahead of the sort of like counterpass they have right now within the CIS region. I think it's super, super, super deserved that they now stand as the winners of the CIS Minor, and I can't wait to see them at the Major. I think this is a team all the European teams should take a note of right now. They should be afraid, and they can literally do a lot of damage if they play well.
High praise once again, Pimp. Well, you spoke about Fitch wanting to be the champion of the CIS Minor. We've got him with Jason Kaplan in the sideline.
Thank you very much, guys. And yes, as Pimp did mention, as well as Banks there at the end, Fitch, you said you joined this team because you wanted to win the CIS Minor. Now that you've done it, how does it feel?
So, hello. I'm feeling good right now because that's why I'm here. Like, I wanted to win this minor. And just like that, I don't know. We good?
Okay, well, and you also did it as well against a team who knocked you into the loser side of Group B. How did you guys prepare from that match a couple of days ago to today? Did you change some things around? Because you did play 2 of those maps you played last time.
So as like happened in the first time we just played, we picked Dust 2 again because we won them against them before, and they picked Train. That was obvious stuff. And the third map was like we were thinking about it, and we just like made decision that we have to play Mirage because they not played Mirage too much. And yesterday we were watching a lot of demos, how we just lost against them on Train, and we tried to win again to win back. And it's not happened. They just came back and they won Train. And the last map was not too easy, but the score is 16-7, I think. So it was good for us.
Okay, so now that you're into the Major, what are you going to do the next few days? Is some relaxation period, or are you going to go home and get straight into training for the Major?
First of all, I got to go home to get the new visas here because I got visa for 1 week or something. Then we have to chill like for a week because we got some tournament in London, like in 5th of February, and we have to go back in boot camp and training before the London Championship. That's it.
Okay, well, congratulations, Fitch, on qualifying. I'm going to let you relax, go join your team, and have a good time now that you finally have made it through and got your own stickers as well. Guys, we're going to head back to the desk to break down the rest of that match, and we'll be back soon with another match coming up shortly.
I'm praying for him. I do not want any visa issues at all. That scares me already that he's got to go back for it. But hey, they've made it this far. Nothing's going to stop these guys. They are looking good regardless.
You could see the happiness in his body language as well. He may not be the best native English speaker, neither am I, but he's happy, he's joyful, right? He's over the moon right now. This is a guy who got kicked from Gambit, a team that went out of the CIS Minor, a team that we believe would be one of the qualifying teams as well. Now he finds himself in what I would say the best CIS team we've seen in some time. So super, super, super well played to Fitch. You know, good to see he can come back, and it makes me happy to see that he's so ecstatic and so happy.
Sweet revenge, right? I mean, sweet revenge end of the day. Like, Gambit's out and he's in. He's not just qualified, he's also the winner as well. Great job from him.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the bracket, guys, and have a look at exactly what we've seen go down today. AVANGAR are your first team to qualify for the major at the Katowice 2019 Minor.
Yeah, and this basically means we get to see the best of the rest play tomorrow. We have Spirit going up against Winstrike team for another battle for another major spot. Winner goes directly into the major, where loser will be part of the whole circuit where we have a minor team from the European minor,
Asian
one from
minor.
the Asian minor, and one from the American minor. 4 teams who will battle it out for one spot. So that's going to be interesting to see which team will go down that road. That said, though, I think Spirit definitely surprised us with the level today. I think Winstrike did not play a bad game today, just faced a better opponent. So tomorrow should be another great game, James.
That certainly should. One final chance, right, to get those things done. Now, we looked at it, we said about Spirit, a team that started to look a little bit more together when it comes to it, but this is going to be very difficult because Winstrike, they certainly look like they are unstoppable at the moment in terms of actual getting together, being that teamwork, and having always a fight within them.
Absolutely, but the thing is, like, when you look at these teams, I said this earlier as well, Spirit seem to be kind of the team who are better than the rest, but not on the level of an AVANGAR or a Winstrike or a Gambit, right? But they did manage to take down Gambit, and I'm looking to see some interesting stuff coming out from these guys, because both these teams, this is a great opportunity. It's going to be a domestic matchup. They know each other pretty well as well. It's a great chance to make it all the way out of the minor, or else you don't know who you're going to be facing from EU, for crying out loud, from NA and Asian teams. You never know what could happen.
The most nice thing about this game is it's going to be the biggest game of either of these teams' careers.
Oh, certainly will be. Well, that is us done and dusted for the CIS Minor, at least for today. Coming right up will be the European Minor, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned in, because that is about to get wild.
Welcome to the Acer Predator pre-show.
The Acer Predator pre-show starts right about now. All the ALMALs can stop because it's time to start talking about the EU Minor. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're getting down to the final parts of this bracket. And boy, I couldn't have a better crew to do it with. I've got some awesome analysts here joining me on the desk. My name is Trey Stunna-Saranthus. I will be the host. Not necessarily with the most, but what I do have is the most esteemed colleagues I could possibly have here. I've got Natu and Sponge, and they are ready and riveting.
Just before we get stuck in,
Okay,
right,
Chad.
I got a question for you.
Oh, God.
Because we're the same age, but you seem to really stay on top of the Maymays. Like, I've got no idea. You know, all like the Twitch emotes.
Maymays.
Yeah, that's how you
That's how I, honestly, I thought it was actually Mimis for a while.
Oh, really?
I mean, we are old, Chad. It is
That's
what it is.
true. I'm feeling ancient these days. But, like, you really keep up with the lingo of the youngsters. I hear you yelling yeets in the green room.
Does he know all the new apps that kids use as well?
All the apps,
TikTok?
the latest updates.
Yeah, that's literally, what is that?
I don't know.
One thing I could tell you is you're not getting any yeets out of me. One thing that you will get is the fact that age is just a number, Chad. Natu, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at 30,
You are the oldest.
I'm still playing video games, so I think
Why not?
Why the hell not? Why the hell not should we not just start this minor off the right way, which some teams didn't decide to do that. In fact, they decided to go ahead and head home early. Some of those teams have already been eliminated. We do find ourselves now with only 4 teams remaining here as we barrel through these playoff brackets. That's right. You're not going to see a Mouse Sports. You're not going to see an Optic Gaming. You're not even going to see a Space Soldier around here.
We can kind of thank them because we get their prac rooms now. But when we're talking about the Counter-Strike that's been going on today, I think these are 2 fantastic matchups. In that lower bracket right there, Vitality versus Valiance, that's a rematch which we had earlier in the tournament, which on the first 2 maps was hugely competitive. The third was a blowout, but I don't see that happening again today. And then North versus Ents, 2 of the most structured and I want to say fundamentally sound teams at this minor going toe-to-toe for a spot in that major. I'm ready and raring.
Yeah, I mean, the tough pill today is going to be the loser of this Vitality Valiance game.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that chance to even get into the third place. What's it called again? Play-in.
The play-in. I'm calling the last chance qualifier.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble for that, but
Yeah, and we got to be careful with terminology around here. That's one thing I have learned on the job. But one thing that we need to educate now is what exactly are you guys talking about? Chad, can you tell the viewers at home?
Oh, the third place kind of decided that's going to be going on. So all the teams from the 4 minors, which we have the Americas minor, the Asia's minor, CIS, and obviously right now the European minor, the teams that come third all qualify to play off against each other for 2 more spots within the major. So even if you lose this matchup today, if you're Ents or North, you get 1 more shot tomorrow, and then if you don't even able to succeed then on the 27th of January, it's all going to be going down. The battle for those last 2 positions between those teams I already mentioned.
Well, the next team that we're going to start to mention is a team that didn't necessarily have their compass in order, but they did have the vision, and they have found themselves now battling it out through the playoff bracket. It's going to be Team Vitality, the French superstars and the star-studded roster encompassing 1 player that some are even putting on the map now, including myself, as the sharpshooter of the year. I mean, it's a little early for that. But nonetheless, let's take a deeper look at Team Vitality.
So Alex joining the team is actually fairly big for us. He was mostly the in-game leader for LDLC, and now he is more going to be focused on himself in his pure lurking role, and on CT side taking care of big bomb sites, so taking care of RPK and Zaiwu mostly. So now that he can focus on himself 100%, and with his experience as an in-game leader, he is a very, very hard-working person. So him focusing on himself, he can just find the best tricks, the best way to approach what he has to do, and the best way to really control and micromanage some of the players that are a bit more quiet, that are just fraggers. With picking up Zaiwu, we already know that he was pretty good on LAN during French tournaments and national tournaments, and especially online, where he's just incredible with the stats he has. I don't think I've seen lots of players reach that high of a level. Trusting our game plan 100%, trusting each other are going to be the main things for us to make it through. But if we do, I'm very confident we have the level to take down anybody in this manner.
Well, we're not carpenters, but we have constructed a ladder. That's right, we have built a ladder, and we have built a bracket system here, guys, and we have barreled down to the end of the pre-show. Unfortunately, I need to ask you guys kind of a overall big picture of what to look forward to now that there has been some massive upsets. There's been some massive names sent home.
No, I really wanted to just mention, do that video about just bringing in Alex to this Vitality lineup.
Sure.
I mean, having been an in-game leader previously, it's going to add like an extra layer to that lineup, right? It's going to be like a wingman.
Well, it's a great understanding with the lurker or individual roles he's given as well, because he should understand the integral parts. A question that I want to get asked to Nathan if they win today's game is, does he feel like watching Zawu play firsthand that he's better than, say, the likes of Kenny S or Shox in his prime? I want to know what Nathan thinks about that one, because that might paint an even clearer picture for us about this kid's potential.
Which is a real conversation to be had on its own and in due time. Perhaps when we come back, we're going to be cutting to a quick break. When we do come back, we've got that first best of 3 of the day. So make sure you're here with us, because you don't have anywhere better to be, I promise you.
One more time. Are you ready? Let's get it on!
All eyes are on you. So give them greatness with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks and game like the pros. When you see the unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you'll find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the prize pool of Intel Extreme Masters. Game like a pro, because the world is watching.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Vodafone presenting the pre-match, and we're going to play as fast as humanly possible here. That's right, these teams are ready to go. But first and foremost, we need to tell you what this is all about. We've got Vitality and Valiant squaring off in a best of 3 here in the playoff brackets for the EU Minor over in IEM Katowice Major 2019. And to my left, I have some dashing young gentlemen. I know we talked about age earlier, but the fact is, we are the age that we believe, guys, and that's just how this works. What we can talk about is perhaps Vitality. We could talk a little bit about this team having that younger superstar and what he's been able to prove and accomplish in his short tenure as a pro player.
Well, he almost feels like the bailout option for this team when things aren't clicking, right? We noticed yesterday on Nuke when they were playing against the likes of North, when they weren't finding opening kills, they were just executing into an absolute wall and not playing the mid rounds. And I brought up in the green room now too that I feel that maybe it's a symptom of French Counter-Strike, that they struggle to get into that modern era where they just either do something off the bat and it fails, or do something very slow and it's not very well thought out.
Yeah, I think it's a case also of them being relatively new team, obviously bringing in Alex, and like I alluded to there before, I'm sure that Alex has been kind of bringing that wingman opportunity for this season. So it's not all up to MBK. I'm sure that he has a lot of say in the situation and might even make some calls here and there.
What about the side of Takashi Kovac? No, I'm kidding. It's actually Hunter. But the reality is, this is also a guy that shone through like a diamond yesterday. This guy is also nuts.
I just want to note quickly while we're on this, because I noticed some comments on Reddit, and obviously we alluded to the fact that Nexa was in-game leading for Renegades for a short tenure, having to learn that very quickly. But as I saw them setting up today, I went down and I asked the question. I said, who's in-game leading? Because in the middle there is Letney, and I said to Hunter, are you in-game leading? Because I asked Yanko, and that's who Yanko said was doing the lion's share. I wanted to double check. He said he's doing about 70% of that. Emmy, the coach, is throwing in. Esperanto made a comment like everybody's in-game leading. So I think it's Hunter doing the lion's share of the calling, but I think they're all chipping in and contributing. And that actually makes sense when you see the individual play styles.
And you got to think about the tendencies of these younger players and how they're having to come together to play against some of this old style, some of this old blood in Counter-Strike. They have a tall task ahead of them, but the fact that they're able to adapt on the fly is something that they have in their pocket not to.
Yeah, I think that's also what's a little volatile about this team too, right? We've seen it time and time again that they like to make a lot of plays, they try to be intuitive, but then there comes a time where a team realizes that, yeah, we need to be a little bit passive and wait for those type of plays to come in and we can punish them. So I feel like they need to find that extra gear. They need to be a little bit more structured so they can switch around. They can do those aggressive plays, but then they can also fall back to a more traditional way of Counter-Strike.
And before we move on past the fact of their style, I think we should point out the way that the first matchup went. It was a Mirage as the opening that went overtime, falling in the favor of Vitality. Then they went to Inferno that was picked up by the side of Valiant. And then it was Dust 2, where they just got blown out of the water.
16-4.
It's not a close affair on that last map, but they showed yesterday on Dust 2 that they can actually compete on that map, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are positives to take away from that for sure, for Valiant, but I think that really the problem for me is that Vitality still feels like the more constructed team, whereas Valiant, like I said, the style they play, it works in a single event, right? They need to have more depth going further, so having that Vitality having that opportunity to already play against Valiant, I feel like they'll be ready for a lot of the aggression. So it'll come down to the fact that if Vitality players are playing up to anywhere near how they're capable of, Valiant would have to have this massive individual performance coming out of Hunter, coming out of those guys, as we saw yesterday in that map number 1, for them to have a fighting chance in this one.
Now, Chad, you did say that they played before, and that's very much the case. In fact, we already saw a best of 3 between these two teams, went the full distance, but the last map was a little lackluster. We're going to be seeing potentially 3 maps again today, and the fact that you're talking about exposure, is that going to play into a favorite here as we take a look at the picks and bans, the vetoes?
I don't think Vitality will pick Inferno again, or if they do, they're going to be prepared for those lurk-out halls kind of plays, just those walk contact plays that were coming out, because they do have a good win record online. See, this is the thing. Right now, Valiants are willing to change it up. They're not going for Mirage, which is what they picked into them first last time, and in an overtime game, you might have actually felt comfortable to go that again. I think this is a mistake by Vitality to go for Dust 2, just because they beat them 16-4 last time. Natu made a really good point. If the Valiance guys are really just fragging out and hitting their shots like we saw Hunter doing yesterday, we saw Letney from the window with the AUG as the mid to B came in from Ents, those individual performances on Dust 2 shut you down, right? That's one of the best things to do. Inferno is the third, actually not a bad decider.
Yeah, Dust 2 is the kind of map where you don't really have that plan B, right? I mean, there's so much you can do in that map, right? And then if those kind of individual plays come in, it's just going to deny you 100%. So then you would actually have to try and overpower them individually for you to be able to win. So yeah, it is a little worrisome.
My problem with this map pool is the first 2 maps can be very individual. One player can take over, individual players can lock down strategy, and we did see the stubbornness from Vitality to just run set pieces and not really do the mid-rounds. They're going to be offered up a lot of picks early because of that aggression from Valiant, but what I want to point out here is maybe Valiant's train has reached the end of the road, because the scrimmy style, once it gets figured out, you saw Ents yesterday, once they adjusted from map 1, it wasn't that they just completely shut them out, but they definitely knew what to expect, and in a rematch, Vitality should be doing doing the same. With their experience, I hope they've prepared themselves for those aggressive pushes through smokes. They're ready to play some heads-up Counter-Strike, and if that's the case, they should take this easily.
But your boys over on Ints kind of figured out the fact that, hey, we can let them play into us rather than, I guess, letting them get away with that aggression and letting them kind of play the style that they maybe got them this far. And in fact, if we start to take a look at what the first map is going to be, guys, with Cash, I need to ask you where we're going on this one, at least on the sides. What do we think in terms of who's going to be walking away with this one?
I have a good feeling about Vitality. I can't quantify why. I just think their experience is going to shine in a crunch match like this.
I think so too, but judging from what we saw from Valiance playing against Mouse Sports on Cash, you know, that I think they were, even when they were aggressive on the CT side, specifically a map where you do need that mobility on the CT side, I thought it was very well thought out, and they were doing really, really well. So I think Vitality is going to have troubles with that. So I can see a world where Valiance is going to pick up the first map.
Well, only time will tell. And guess what? We've got a little bit of that. Not for us, of course, for the commentators, because it's time to bring them into the fold. It's time for us to get into this first best of 3 of the day here for the European Minor. We're getting down to the bottom line, and I guarantee you, if you're turning in right now, you've picked the exact right time to do it, because these next 2 guys, and there's something real special about them. One is, he's kind of like Hellboy, and the other one's kind of like the Mad Magazine character. In fact, it's going to be Hugo Byron and Harry Russell bringing you this best of 3 and the one thereafter. Guys, go ahead and get us into this pistol round, and let's get this match underway.
Wow, great. I really feel complimented there. Thank you very much, Trace. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. We've already had Valiance bounce back from, that game against Mouse Sports, able to, get that win and already knock them out. They're looking to knock out another big boy here in the European Minor, that being Vitality. But will the Frenchman be up for the task, Harry?
Yeah, I mean, it's the rematch, right? It's the rematch from that group stage, so it's a chance here for Valiance to try and get revenge. Vitality, they're just looking to try and do what they did the first time around, right? They want to try and close this out. The Dust 2 pick, that's where things get interesting, right? Because if you recall, that was where Team Vitality were just able to walk over Valiance the first time around. But when we saw them play it yesterday, Valiance, they looked pretty damn strong on that map.
Oh, careful.
Yeah, I know. I almost got a bit carried away by how
you're just so enthusiastic.
I am enthusiastic.
So ready for this game, and I'm sure we are as well. Let's get right into things. It's Cash, map number 1 here of this best of 3 series. Loser, Harry, they're going to be going home. They get nothing. Playoff spot doesn't matter. They're not going to be making their way to the new challenger stage in the major here at Katowice, but the winner still gets an opportunity to battle back and at least play for that major spot, or the 3rd place decider, which will be coming up on the 27th. But let's start here and now. It's Vitality favored. Thank you to the Betway odds at the bottom of your screen there. But let's see what happens in the first map of a potential 3. And I think we're going the distance here. It's already been proven in just the game they played the other day. So straight into things. T-side start for Valiance on this pistol round. They've got a lot of utility. Early setup outside of B. Nexa, he's potentially going to throw in a bit of a fake to A main. We've seen him on this P250 in every T-side pistol round, and he's had 3Ks left, right, and center. So potential fake for Valiance, unless that will be their end goal. But with the bomb outside of the B site, Vitality yet to get really much information. And yeah, already that bomb's starting to shuffle back. So maybe the call that A is the push after all here for the Valiance and Co guys. 5 players grouped up, that bomb included. Vitality not quite committed to a retake setup. They've got 3 players here if you include the man in the highway. Zywoo going to be creeping up, and while that smoke should cut off his line of sight,